I'm joined now by Tim Rossett from Brooks Automation. Nice to see you, Tim.
Hi, Trevor. Good to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So you're one of these new guys that's come into our industry from the robotics field. Tell us a little bit about what kind of robotic configurations that you offer EMS companies.
Sure, yeah. So Brooks Automation is a lot of folks probably within the industry are familiar with Brooks Automation in that they're coming from the semiconductor side and the processing side. Okay. But we have a line of collaborative robots that was an acquisition a little over in 2021. Precise Automation. Okay. We brought that into Brooks, and then we're investing, growing that portfolio, and it's collaborative robots. So robots that are designed to work inherently side by side with people and enable people to do the things that they do best and allow the robots to do some of the more tedious and mundane things. And so the applications we're looking at are PCB, PCA handling, test, and packaging.
Okay. So you're the Brooks Automation that's actually doing the FOOPs and
yes.
robots for the semiconductor
exactly.
side.
That's the core business, and then the group I'm in is the Precise Flex collaborative robots. Yep.
So talking about that acquisition you made with Precise Flex, I think we've got a photograph of one of the cobots that you are actually showing here today.
Right.
I've just brought it up on the screen. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this system and how it works.
Yeah, so again, Precise Automation came out of life sciences and lab automation, so working closely with the lab technicians and working with a lot of expensive and sometimes delicate equipment. Mm-hmm. So one of the design criteria was to ensure that if someone bumped the robot or if the robot bumped a machine, and that it doesn't do any damage, doesn't harm people, number one, but it doesn't do any damage to equipment, and so we've carried that forward. We've enhanced the designs, and we're really going after general industry, and to do a broad range of applications within manufacturing, and within the electronics industry. That's certainly an area that we see a strong need. That's sometimes similar to lab automation in that it's confined workspaces, working side by side with people, and we see a lot of similarities there.
Okay. So what sort of technologies do you use to stop the cobots from bumping into people? Is it LiDAR sensors or what are you using?
Our cobots, unlike a lot of the other traditional collaborative robots that are on the market, are inherently safe. So they some of the if you want to talk technology, they have our robots are moved on a horizontal plane for the major axis, so they're not moving against gravity, and as a result, we're able to have very low gear ratios and very low reflected inertia. So they'll very low moving mass, so that if it does happen to bump you, we're able to stop. We have some advanced controls algorithms that we're able to stop very quickly, so we can move at a higher speed and be able to stop quite fast.
Really? Yep. That's interesting. And presumably they come in all sorts of different configurations. What's the maximum axis that you can offer in your? So
we have our standard is 4-axis, and a lot of in the semiconductor and the electronics industry is planar, is flat to flat applications. But we also have 6-axis versions as well. 6 degrees of freedom that gives you the full pitch and articulation. Yep.
Okay. So one of the things, of course, about these systems is how easy is the software system to teach.
Right.
How simple is it to teach your robot?
Yeah, we have, that's one of the nice things about collaborative robots, and that has changed the paradigm around people's thinking around teaching and deploying. People don't want to program robots. There's some sophisticated applications that you need to program, and there's no getting around it, but there's a lot of basic applications that we have a web interface. Just pull up your tablet, connect to the robot, and configure the application rather than doing programming. So they're quite easy to deploy. Right. Again, I want to preface that by it depends on the application, right? It depends. But for a lot of the basic applications, it's quite easy.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in our industry, there's a lot of different applications where AI is starting to come into play. Do you foresee that's going to happen in your end, in the robotics side?
Yeah, I think some of the advances that we're seeing, I think in large part the advances in software and AI help with analyzing data so that it's actionable and you can make decisions. The manipulators, the robot arms themselves, frankly, are for the most part a commodity. Maybe shouldn't say that because I'm in the robotics business, but manipulation is a commodity. So the robots will do whatever you command them to do, whatever you tell them to do.
Right.
And the real advances are, making those decisions and enabling, effectively knowing what type of commands and also how to maybe optimize over time. Is now there are certainly some advances that are happening there to be able to optimize some of the processes and learn over time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's an exciting space, and it's certainly changing a lot of the factory floors across the country. Are you seeing quite an uptake from American manufacturers to want to automate?
We're seeing a fair amount of demand for reshoring and nearshoring. We're seeing not only in the U.S. But Mexico as well. A lot of activity in Mexico and
Right.
a lot of manufacturing that's maybe lower volume, higher mix that their companies are really wanting to bring back.
Right.
Either.
One of the interesting dynamics I've seen with companies that are reshoring or bringing it down to Mexico is that they're using best-in-class equipment, whereas maybe in Asia they were using cheaper stuff. They're using best-in-class over here. Are they also using that opportunity though to automate more of their processes?
Absolutely. I think the advances in robotics, the costs have come down while the technology and the systems have gotten better and more reliable. Our robots, for example, have a design life of 40,000 or 100,000 hours, depending upon the model that you choose. So that's quite long, as you say. Some of the other competitors in different markets maybe are lower cost and they don't have the reliability. So reliability is number one.
Right.
Flexibility and agility in manufacturing and the process is number two as well. But we're seeing a lot of companies automating things that maybe they weren't thinking about 5 years ago or 3 years ago, and then that kind of leads us to conversation around labor shortage, which is
Right.
another
issue,
a challenge that everyone's
Absolutely.
struggling with.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would be the average ROI on one of these systems? I know it's difficult to pin that tail to the donkey because it depends on how many your use case. It depends on lots of different factors. But I mean, in your experience, what would be the average ROI?
Yeah, it does vary substantially, and it depends upon the complexity. But companies that are running 2 shifts, 3 shifts can really get a compelling ROI. In many cases, it's a matter of weeks as opposed to months or years.
Right.
It used to be that the target was 18 months, 24 months plus to get an ROI, and we've seen that come down substantially. In some cases, it's under 12 months, and so it's quite an attractive ROI.
Right, interesting. Yeah. Great. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the Precise Flex Cobot, and I want to thank you for coming in and sharing that with us today.